Only another 3 weeks before I take the boat out to the Chesapeake. Gotta get these projects knocked out, man. Let's go. All right, first things first, to get this holding tank in here, I'm gonna have to delete this guy and probably that guy, and may as well delete that one. So, let me make room real quick. All right, let's see if we can test fit this thing in here. Got that side piece removed, which is going back because that works with that doohickey to keep this shut. So that's gonna go back in after we're done, but let's give it a test fit. Well, it fits, but it doesn't give me a whole lot of room for plumbing. I don't know, I'm gonna have to fiddle with this for a minute and see if it's too big or not. Well, looks like I bought too much tank. This ain't gonna work. But I just ordered a 10-gallon, so a third the size, but at least it'll fit and I can hook up all the plumbing. Whatever, I got a hand pump anyway, so I mean, who wants to pump 30 gallons by hand? All right, well, there's more to this system than the holding tank, so I'm gonna move on and do what I can. I'm gonna go ahead and get the line coming from the bowl of the toilet to the vented loop. And because of where everything's located here, and this, that, and the other, so, you know, here is the deck, so theoretically he'll over and come up to there, so I need this to be above that. All right, vented loop is in. Now we gotta run some hose from that down to the back side of the toilet. All right, so that is on there with 2 pipe clamps going opposite directions. You know, it's gonna be a bad day if this thing leaks. So 2 of them opposite directions, clamp down nice and snug. That ain't going nowhere. Hopefully it doesn't leak. All right, so now we're continuous from there up to the bended loop. Back down. I'm gonna wait to put it through the wall until the new tank comes later this week, because yeah, I just want to make sure I'm not drilling holes where I don't need to drill holes. So the new 10-gallon one holding tank came. Definitely smaller. It'll definitely fit in the space. Keys for size. All right, so a little perspective compared to the last one. This is gonna go in here and I'm gonna have plenty of room to get my plumbing connections and all that. I'm gonna strap this bad boy to the wall over here. So it'll be up off of the bottom a bit, level, be good to go. But guess what? Now I'm waiting on more parts to come. We'll circle back to the head in the next episode. All right, it's time to get started on swapping out this Traveler behind me. So first things first, I've gotta secure the boom somewhere else. So yeah, here we go. All right. So just temporarily, I have it hooked up right over here. So now there's nothing depending on this anymore, so I can get this out. Let's get this thing off of here. This line, by the way, did not hold up at all in the UV. All of the white parts are chalky. The blue's not too bad, but I don't know the difference, but it's trash. It's a good thing I got this new Traveler set up, because I was gonna have to replace this anyway. Look at that. Garbage. So that Traveler was backed up with pretty much nothing. I mean, tiny little washers, you know, but I'm going to be using some much larger ones to distribute the weight. There's another screw on the other side of this wall, which I think I can get my arm through here to get at the nut on that one. So here we go. Have I mentioned before how much I love crawling up in these small spaces to work on things? Trying to get this nut back here loose. It's holding down the track on the outside. I'm just amazed at the shit job that was done in so many ways on this boat. All right, the old Traveler is free. Clean that up a little bit. Get this new one in. All right, new Traveler is in. Had to put some oak wedges under it and a plate underneath just to brace it up and everything, but it's in, it's functional, all hooked back up. And yeah, I'm really glad I didn't try to sail with the mainsail up on that old system. It was literally like yanking out of the sides and everything. I don't know how it was used before. It was such a crap install. But this one I think is gonna work. All right, so I'm gonna be putting my old Traveler right here. And basically what I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be mounting the Raymarine auto tiller system over here. And it's gonna be kind of bumped out a little bit to meet the measurement requirements. But measuring to the center of this, I'm gonna, instead of having, you know, like where the Traveler would connect up here before for the boom, now I'm gonna have a block of material across here that pin is gonna slip into. And then on those two sides, there's gonna be pulleys which direct the line over. It's gonna come back over here to a wheel I'm gonna make that brackets onto this. So get a couple of wraps around it with the cord. That'll be my friction to actually move the wheel. I still have to crunch a few numbers on the radius of my circle that I'm gonna use, and if I'm gonna utilize the 2-to-1 nature of this. All right, so that is now mounted there under the seat. Now I gotta get some pulleys attached in the walls here. And then it's probably math time. Blah. All right, let me share a little more detail with you on how this whole auto tiller thing is gonna work. All right, so here's the basic idea. Right along here is the old Traveler that I just reinstalled. I'm gonna have a block in here. It's gonna connect to the pin on the auto tiller. So it seems like this thing has a play of about 7 inches in its motion. So about 3.5 inches either way of center. And so if I use a 2-to-1 setup on my Traveler, then that'll give me 7 inches of movement on either side. So the ropes will come back here through these blocks to a wheel that I'm gonna mount onto my steering wheel. To make this work out, I want about half a turn. So full extension out or all the way retracted, I want to equate to about half a turn of my wheel. And so to get that based on 7 inches, I worked out that I need to have the inner wheel with a radius of 2.23 inches. So about, 4.5 inches across, to give me a total circumference of 14 inches, which will give me that half turn on either direction. So that's what I worked out, and that's what I'm going to be building. I'm going to fabricate this wheel. I don't know, I might use wood, but I'm going to see if I can't gather up some like PVC cutting boards and epoxy them together or something. I don't know. I got a few ideas on it, but this is what I'm going with. All right, for the next part of this install, I need to find dead center here, which is going to represent the center position for the tiller where the pin is going to go, and the trolley will slide along through there, of course. But I'm going to need the distance from the center of this where the pin goes to where the mounting pin for the auto tiller is going to go to be exactly 23.2 inches, or from the pin to the back of it 24 inches. So I've got to figure out exactly how I'm going to mount it over here. So I'm going to do a few measurements. All right, so that's where she's going to go. Got that over there. I still need to epoxy it in. I've still got to build the connector pin too, but that's more or less the setup. Sitting here this morning being all extra nerdy and decided to revisit my numbers for the wheel I'm gonna make that goes along with the auto tilling system. And originally I had figured it for half a turn at full extension, but half a turn on my wheel is actually a lot of steering correction on my boat. So I think I'm gonna dial that back from a half turn to a third of a turn at full extension. So that means instead of a radius of 2.23 for my wheel I'm gonna have a radius of 3.34.
I know that doesn't sound like a big difference, but it's gonna be, I think, a lot easier on the auto tiller itself. It's not gonna be as much wear and tear, and you know, it allows for a smoother kind of adjustment, I think. We'll see in practice, but I think that's what I'm gonna go with, a third of a turn instead of a half a turn.
All right, so now I've got to dive into getting the power fed to the auto tiller. I'm gonna set that up special, but since I've got to do this anyways, I'm having other electrical issues. You know, as you recall, I've still got a bit of a rat's nest down here. There's more labeling been accomplished, but it's still a rat's nest, and it's just pretty sloppy in general, so I got to clean this up some. I've actually lost power to my nav station, so something's come loose anyways, so time to tighten this up.
All right, I've got a bit of stuff here to help me clean up this mess. I've got a couple of wire buses, some extras in here if I end up needing more. These are some switches because I am going to put this in as a transformer. It's going to drop that 48 volt down to 12 volt so that I can also use my main bank of batteries if my single house battery runs low. I'm probably actually gonna be running that auto tiller off of this bad boy just because I know it's gonna be power hungry, and I've only got the one house battery, so I'm gonna have that draw off the big bank. But before I can do any of this, I want to clean it up and have it accessible and labeled right about here, but this is thin. Now you see I've already put some hinges on here to make sure that things don't get yanked too much, but because it's so thin, I'm going to take this, which we took out from back there, used to be part of the shelf that held the water heater in place, and I'm going to mount this right here. And that's going to be what I mount my other stuff to, and that should give me the thickness so that none of my screws poke up through the top. So, that first. Alright, got basic components here, now to get on with it. Alright, so to try to sort out all this wiring fiasco, I've had to pull the steps back out so I can get up under there. Not even worried about hooking up that transformer yet, trying to just sort out the rat's nest still. I've deleted a bunch of crap wiring. Definitely simplified things a bit. I have confirmed that I've definitely got a voltage leak for my nav equipment somewhere. It keeps yelling at me. When it was working, it kept yelling at me, you know, low voltage, 11 volts or whatever, when I knew for sure that was bullshit. Now I can prove it. So I've got my new battery monitor right there. It's reading 13.4 volts, while the nav station is still yelling at me about having only 11 volts. So the nav station is all wired up in this little clusterfuck over here. Now some of this is to do with the C-Talk stuff, which half of it doesn't work, but it's just really, really strange wiring setup. I'm still trying to figure it out exactly. This white one here goes directly to the power port on the nav station, but I don't really see specifically power coming into this. The black wire there, which it's wired up with, actually comes down in here somewhere. I guess it's under, there it is, into that connector. So I don't think it's feeding power off of that. So I don't know, I got some figuring to do. Well, as part of my wiring process, I've managed to get this working again, actually reading out my depth and everything. Pretty happy about that. Let me see what else I've managed to take on. And what do you know, it's not screaming at me for low power anymore. Woohoo! This is just a week of small spaces. Wiring up my transformer to drop this 48 volt back down to 12 volt for the auto tiller. So I'm dropping the phone. So I'm up here backwards in one of the little tiny bunks and working through this hole here. And through here I can access my battery banks, and with my long arms I can actually almost reach all the way over to the other side. So I guess despite being crammed up in this small hole, it's still helpful being tall and lanky. Alright, let me get this last connection on. Well, that didn't last but a minute. After about 15 minutes of just sitting there with the nav station on, it started yelling about low voltage, set 11 volts, but there, 12.9. All right, so now I gotta mount this guy. This is the socket that the auto tiller is going to plug into. I had wanted to put it over in here because there's already a perfect size hole for it, but the cord won't reach all the way back here to where it's actually gonna get mounted. So I'm gonna put it right about here. There's nothing on the other side of that to obstruct it, so it should be good to go. All right, so I've been using this Fortress FX16. It's done great here in the river, you know, with reasonably shallow anchorages, mud bottoms. Had no complaints at all about it, but heading out to potentially mixed bottoms and deeper anchorages, I decided it's time to have something that might make me sleep a little better. So I've got a Mantis 35-pound anchor here. I'm gonna put this together and swap out the anchors. All right, so here's how she comes in the crate. Just gotta put her together. Got a little info here. Right on. Well, there we go. All put together, liberally greased, tightened from the underside. Good to go, just gotta hook it up. Only problem so far with this new anchor is figuring out how to store the damn thing on deck. I'm gonna have to have it fastened down while, you know, underway and everything, but still want to be able to get at it and access it and everything easily too. You know, I don't want to take it off the chain, so still sorting that out. Can't be all work all the time. It's a beautiful freaking evening to be out here. It's Labor Day weekend. Temperature's just right, sun's going down, tide's up. Got the family on board, wife at the bow, kids inside. This is just awesome. Megan! What are you doing, Seneca? There's the other one. So I intend to be sleeping in this hole here, and back in the back there was this shelf that used to hold up the hot water heater. I still got a piece of bracing back there I need to pull down, but have to get this out of the way just to make room for my feet. I'm too big. So anyways, I wanted to sleep here though because it's right next to the companionway. I think that's what it's called anyways. The stairs anyways to go out and deal with whatever the hell is going on. So back into the hole I go. Got it. Now I got room for my feet. I don't even care about the hole back there. Whew, it's hot. All right, I think this spot's actually gonna work out well. I just fit. Well, I find myself stuck again, waiting on parts for pretty much every project I've got going on right now. I guess that's a wrap on this one, and there'll be more to come as parts arrive over the next few days. Thinking about doing a little meetup the Thursday before I take off on my trip, so if anyone wants to come and tell me how stupid I am for going out in this boat, you're more than welcome. More details to come. I'll probably just move the boat over to the public dock over here just for easy access. We'll provide like sodas, waters, maybe a few beers. Please do not imbibe alcohol off of the boat because that is public park property over there. We will get in trouble. But anyways, if you're interested in maybe coming to something like that, you know, drop a drop a comment down below. Let me know you're interested, and I'll see if I can't get something together. I mean, honestly, even if only a few people want to come, that's doable. So let me know, and hope to see you all out there on the water soon. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and you can find me on Patreon as well.
If you're interested in attending the meetup, it's going to be Friday, September 22nd at Osborne Park and Boat Landing. If even only a couple of people want to come, I'll make it happen. Leave a comment below.